Paul Cannon with Simmons and Fletcher Injury and Accident Lawyers, here today to meet Jeff Chadwick, the Executive Director of Mission Centers of Houston. Jeff, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. It's a beautiful day.
Well, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to talk to us and be on and tell us about Mission Centers of Houston. I don't want to take up any more of your time, so why don't you tell us what you guys do and what's going on.
Thanks. I really appreciate the opportunity to share. Mission Centers of Houston, but our mission statement says that we provide for the physical and spiritual needs of people living in Houston's inner city with the grace, love, and mercy of Jesus Christ. So our mission, which has been, actually, we're going to celebrate 60 years on May 23rd of next year. It's been in the city, in the inner city for that long. And basically, the ministry has not changed. Our whole goal is to help people with their physical needs so that we can introduce them to having a relationship with Jesus and encourage them and teach them how to become committed followers of him, eventually get them involved into a community of faith if they don't have one. So we do that through various methods. Mainly the biggest one we have is our food pantries, because we're in the communities that we're at, there's a lot of food insecurity. So we offer food pantries at several locations. We actually have 3 centers. 2 are in the near north side of Houston. So if you're familiar with downtown, all you have to do is just look a little bit to the north, and we're kind of sandwiched in between I-45, 69, and 10. We're in that little bucket. That's the near north side. And then our second center is over in Magnolia Park, which is part of the greater east end of Houston. So if you get on Navigation Boulevard and you just go all the way to the east until you hit the ship channel, that little community that's out there, that's Magnolia Park, and that's where our other center is. So at both of those, we offer food pantries. And what we do is we do client choice. Unless it's a disaster and there's a emergency relief going on where you do the drive-up thing, we prefer normally to have it as client choice. So we have people come in, they get to choose groceries. So we kind of stock our shelves like a grocery store, and they choose the groceries that they know they can use and they need. And that gives a little more dignity to the process. We don't charge for anything. All of our services are 100% free to the community. And we focus on not just food pantries, but we'll take food out to homebound people that we know can't get out. We have also programs that we offer that are, I'll call, community-based, age-graded programs. So we have an after-school kids club that meets weekly. We have an after-school youth club. So whether the children are age 4 to 10 or 11 to 18, that depends on which one they'll go to. We also have a senior adult program. So we offer community. At the senior adult program, the senior adults get to enjoy a meal with us. And then on Mondays, we have a lot of homeless in the near north side. And so we have a homeless assistance program where we don't supply places to live, but we give them a place to come and get out of the shelter, get some shelter. We give them a nice hot meal. We have fellowship with them. And so it's a wonderful way to go about that. All these programs that we have biblically based. And so at each one, we're going to have either a short devotion, or like for the kids and youth, they get involved in a more detailed Bible study and they learn the Bible. And that's where we can connect them and help them develop those relationships with Christ. So that's kind of an overall look at what we do.
Right. It sounds like you guys are kind of premised on the principle of feeding the body to get an opportunity to feed the soul then.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So how did y'all's organization come about?
Back in 1962, the Southern Baptist Convention in Houston, through an organization called the Union Baptist Association, they were given a piece of property in the near north side. It was a house. And the house basically was a Hispanic church owned this house, and they were trying to use it to do a little bit of help for the community. They got to the point where they couldn't handle it anymore. They couldn't afford it. So they gave the property to the Union Baptist Association. And then they formed this entity called the Mexican Baptist Goodwill Center. And that became the name of it until a few years later when they changed it over to Baptist Mission Centers. And They expanded out from that location. We actually have 2 locations in the near north side, and then they expanded over into Magnolia Park area after that. But it all came about because in the near north side of Houston, especially in the 60s, it was just highly crime ridden. It was, and the poverty was intense. And so the Union Baptist Association recognized that. They accepted the property, and then the National State Baptist Convention sent a missionary here by the name of Mildred McWhorter, single lady. And it was amazing. She came here and she was tough as nails. and she became known as Miss Mac. And for 30 years, she served, and she's the one that grew the ministry. She passed away a couple of years ago, and the Houston Chronicle actually did an article about her, and they called her the Mother Teresa of Houston. She had that kind of reputation. So that's how we got started. That's the foundation that I get to enjoy being part of and help to build on.
Well, that is cool. So you said there's 3 locations. 2 of them are in the north side.
Yeah.
One of those is a food pantry. What was the other one?
Well, in one's called the Fletcher Center. At the Fletcher Center, there's 4 buildings, including a house. Our area missionary and his wife, who they direct all of our ministries in the north side, they live there. The other 3 buildings, we have a church that we've partnered with, and they're using it for a church, so we can partner with them, and the buildings are being used mainly for that. Then all the ministry happens about less than a mile from there at our other center called the Gano Center. And there we have a big walk-in food pantry. We have a multi-purpose gymnasium. And then we have, and that's where our office building is. And then we have, on top of our office building, we have dormitories. And the dormitories are used for college students who come and serve with us for the entire summer. So every summer, we'll get anywhere from 12 to 15 college students who want to give their summer to serve on mission. We also use it from time to time for when mission groups are coming in or traveling in from out of town. We have a place to put them up while they do mission work here.
Gotcha. Well, I saw, I think online that you guys have a lot of volunteer opportunities for students as well as adults in everything ranging from participating and teaching these various courses and after school projects that y'all do to summer programs and everything else. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, there's always opportunities. We always have groups coming in, whether it's a volunteer group from out of state or out of even in Houston. They might want to come and stay with us. They can come and stay for a period of a week to however long they want to stay. We make room for them, and there's a way for us to do that here. But local volunteers in particular, they plug in all kind of ways, whether it's during our food pantry time, whether they want to come as a Sunday school class might come and bring 10 or 15. And we make it family oriented so that our volunteer opportunities when a group comes can be family friendly. We also have individual opportunities like you had mentioned about after school. We love the more people we can get to help with our after school programs with these kids and youth, the better. And the hard thing is it's after school, so the hours make it somewhat tough during the week for some people. But next year, we're going to be really expanding our opportunities to try to get more one-on-one mentoring and educational supplement, because we're seeing these kids really falling behind, especially with the pandemic and all of COVID. They're really falling behind on their educational goals, and we want to help with that.
How many people are you guys serving through your missions?
We serve if you count everything, we touch about 60,000 people a year. And it's not 60,000 unique individuals. Some of those are repeat, the ones that come to our programs. For example, our average kids club at both locations is about 30 to 35 kids. Sometimes it'll ramp all the way up to 80. Just depends on what we have going on. When you get close to Christmas, the numbers go up, and then when you start up right after school starts, the numbers tail off. We also have about that number in our youth programs. The senior adults, we get between both locations, there's about 100 senior adults involved. But the biggest amount is the food pantry. We'll feed, somebody will come in and they'll get food for their family. And we'll probably see 200 a week, 200, and we make appointments for them and they come in. So the homeless, that's about 50 or 60 every week, although there's 300 names on the list because they change constantly. But it's about 50 or 60 is a good attendance number to expect. So it just depends on which ministry you're talking about, but it's a lot. We have stuff going on all the time.
And how many full-time people do you have involved in the ministry?
We only have five full-time, 5 part-time. And some of our part-time people we have hired from within the community, because what we want to do is offer opportunities for people who live in the community. Some of them, it's very difficult for them to get jobs. They don't know how to, but they want to work and they want to serve. And so the ones that we see with an interest on us, if we bring them in and work with us, even on a part-time basis, what we find out is they volunteer a whole lot on top of that part-time basis. And some of them, they're here every day, and it's a wonderful thing. But last year we logged 14,000 volunteer hours. 14,000 volunteer hours is like having 10 full-time people. So if we didn't have volunteers, man, we could not do what we do. That's for sure.
Wow, it sounds like you guys definitely depend on a lot of volunteers for that. Is there a place on the web that people can go to learn about volunteer opportunities and get involved?
There is. If you go to missioncenters.org, you'll see a drop-down tab about where to get involved. And from there, you can look at volunteer opportunities. There's opportunities if you're looking at us from like bringing a group and you want to do a mission trip, if you want to be involved as an intern or just come for the summer, there's a way to apply for that. And all that are linked right into that website. So just go to missioncenters.org and look for the drop down about getting involved.